After 56 years film industry, making more than 200 films, I break so many bones. Finally, this is mine.
We spent our whole lives thinking Jackie Chan feared nothing. But the older he got, the clearer one truth became. The thing that frightened him most wasn't death, or danger, or fame. It was reaching the end of his life, knowing there were wounds he never healed and people he never held close enough. Most of us only saw the smile, the outstretched hands, the impossible jumps that made grown adults hold their breath in theaters around the world. But the story of Jackie Chan isn't the story of a man who could do anything. It's the story of a boy who had nothing and spent an entire lifetime trying to prove he was worth something. Jackie was born in 1954 inside a tiny servant's room behind the French consulate in Hong Kong. His parents worked long, quiet hours for people who never knew their names. And home was the sound of exhaustion. Some nights, dinner wasn't a meal. It was whatever scraps they could stretch between them. And then, when he was only 7, the kind of moment that shapes a man forever arrived. His parents left. They didn't abandon him. But to a 7-year-old, the reason doesn't matter. He was handed to an opera school and sent into a world where childhood wasn't allowed. The China Drama Academy was legendary, but not for kindness. Up before dawn, training until long after midnight, sleeping on wooden floors, mistakes punished, fear swallowed, pain ignored. Jackie didn't learn discipline there. He learned survival. He learned that no one was coming to comfort him, no one was coming to save him, and no one cared whether he cried. So he stopped crying, and he started working. That's where the roots of Jackie Chan's strength were planted, in a place that taught him the one rule he carried into adulthood. If you fall, you get up. And if you can't get up, you pretend you can. At 17, the contract ended and he walked back into Hong Kong with no home, no money, and no idea who he was supposed to become. Some nights, he slept under theater lights after everyone left. Some nights, he slept under leaking awnings. He washed dishes in backstreet kitchens and carried bricks up half-built towers. Food wasn't dinner. It was whatever he could afford after a day of lifting and begging for work. But the truth about hunger is this: once you've been truly hungry, you're never the same. Hunger becomes a fire. Hunger becomes memory. Hunger becomes your engine. That engine pushed Jackie into stunt work, the only place where pain actually paid. And because he had nothing to lose, he took every hit harder than anyone else. He let his body become a tool, a weapon, a message. Bruce Lee once threw him so hard his ribs cracked. Jackie smiled through the pain because finally someone with power knew his face. But when Bruce died, Jackie's progress died with him. Studios tried making him the next Bruce Lee, and every one of those movies failed. He was mocked, dismissed, and told he didn't have the face, the voice, or the charisma to be a star. He was close to disappearing when he made the choice that changed everything. He stopped trying to be a legend and started being himself. Pain mixed with humor, stunts mixed with personality, violence mixed with vulnerability. People didn't just watch him fight. They watched him struggle. And that struggle felt real. Success came fast after that. Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, Drunken Master, Project A. Then the film that redefined the entire genre. police story. But success wasn't comfortable. It came with a price that only Jackie's body paid. Jumping from buses, sliding down burning poles, falling through real glass, breaking bones he didn't even have names for. And then came the stunt that nearly ended him. The fall on Armor of God. A branch snapped. He hit the ground head first. His skull cracked open. A piece of bone had to be replaced with steel. For most people, that would have been the end. For Jackie Chan, it was just another scar. A week later, he was back on set. Not because he was fearless, but because he didn't know how to stop. That kind of dedication made him a global hero. Rumble in the Bronx opened the door to the West. Rush Hour turned him into an international phenomenon. But while the world celebrated him, the man himself was facing a quieter truth. He had no idea how to be present for the people he loved. Jackie could fall from a clock tower without blinking, but he couldn't sit still at a dinner table long enough to watch his son blow out birthday candles. He could rehearse a fight scene for 18 hours straight, but he struggled to keep a conversation alive at home. And the deeper into fame he climbed, the more his personal life fractured. His son grew up feeling abandoned. His daughter grew up without a father at all. His marriage survived storms most families never come back from. Jackie never hid from these truths. He admitted them with the same honesty he used to perform his stunts. "I broke every part of my body," he once said. "But the thing I broke most was time with my family." You won't see that on screen. You won't hear that in interviews. But it's part of the man, and part of the fear that grew as he aged. What if the injuries heal, but the relationships don't? What if the legend lives forever, but the man goes without peace? By his 50s, Jackie's body was a map of damage. Metal inside the skull, fused ankles, a spine that protested every morning, a shoulder that never fully healed. His right ear rings constantly from nerve damage. Some days, his knees hardly bend. But age did something years of pain never could. It forced him to slow down, and in that stillness, he finally saw the things he had run past for decades. His wife, who had sacrificed her entire career to raise their child. His son, who had struggled alone in his shadow. His daughter, whose life he had only watched from a distance. Fame had given him everything and taken things he couldn't get back. Now, at 71, his life looks different. He wakes early, trains lightly, walks slowly through a garden filled with koi and silence. He spends long mornings with his wife, a woman who stayed through storms that would have shattered most marriages. He donates millions quietly, builds schools, funds hospitals, meets children who remind him of the boy he used to be. He has mansions, cars, watches, yachts, but none of it defines him now. What defines him is gratitude and a kind of humility that only comes from having survived yourself. Jackie Chan's legacy isn't just the stunts, isn't the broken bones, it isn't the box office numbers. It's this simple truth. He spent a lifetime falling and a lifetime standing back up. And somewhere along the way, he learned how to stand still long enough to appreciate the life he built. Today, he isn't the man who jumps from rooftops. He isn't the unstoppable fighter. He isn't the daredevil who made us laugh through danger. He's something far rarer, a man who knows exactly what it cost him to become a legend, and is finally learning how to live like a human being. Jackie Chan taught the world how to rise after every fall, Now his story teaches something even harder: how to slow down, how to forgive yourself, how to hold the people you love with both hands, and how to make peace with the years that can't be rewritten. If his films ever made you laugh, if they ever gave you courage, if they ever reminded you that pain can be turned into something beautiful, then Jackie Chan has already left you a gift. And maybe that's the real legacy. Not the stunts, not the fame, but the reminder that even the strongest men face fears no camera ever sees, and that the greatest victories aren't on set.